Okay. All right. Thank you to everyone who is joining us tonight. We're doing a little bit different format here. I like this a lot better than the live videos. So we can actually save these and we don't have to go searching for live videos. So thank you for everyone that's joining us. We are bringing back our doctor calls, our live calls that we're doing. We're going to start trying to do these again twice a month. We are talking to Dr. Jerrica Sweetnich tonight about probiotics. And our next call is going to be a week from today, next Tuesday, and we're going to talk about the keto diet and lifestyle and what it means to get your body into ketosis and all that good stuff. So I'm going to let Jerrica kind of take over and introduce herself, and then we'll get right into the call.
Hi guys, thank you Brandy for having me first of all. I'm really excited to be doing another call with you. I love doing these, so it's always fun.
Thank you for being here. We love you.
Of course, thank you. Awesome. So I'm a naturopathic doctor for those of you who don't know me, and what a naturopathic doctor is it's more of a holistic position, a holistic viewpoint. Really the underlying difference between me and say an allopathic colleague or an MD or a DO is really the way that we look at medicine and the way that we look at problems. So we always strive to find the root cause of whatever ailment, condition, symptom, whatever it is. We want to find the root cause rather than just treating the symptom. So, you know, a lot of people think that, oh, the main difference between me and an MD or a DO is that I do more natural things, more herbals, more vitamins and minerals, and that might be true, but that's really not the main difference. It's really, you know, the way our philosophy and the way that we look at things and finding that underlying root cause. I do have my own practice in Akron. It's right off of 77, and then I have a little online store, and I do some telemedicine a little bit. I'm starting to delve into that too. So I treat a lot of women that have thyroid issues, Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, and then I do see a lot of gastrointestinal conditions as well, such as ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease and IBS and things like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's it in a nutshell.
No, that's fantastic. And at the end of this, I do want to touch a little bit on your online store because we're going to be talking about probiotics, and you offer an awesome 15% discount to any members of our group. So we'll get through the call, and then maybe you can just kind of give a little bit of direction on that, and I'll post the link. You can send me the info, and I'll post that on the blog, and that way people can sign up directly from the blog too and connect with you and order some products.
Perfect. Great.
Cool. So yeah, let's get into it. The topic of tonight's call is probiotics, and that's kind of a big topic that we talk about a lot in Healthy Hustlers. So I thought it was a good idea to have you kind of come on and talk about, you know, what they are, how they work, why we need them, and maybe, you know, the best, and I know different recommendations for different people, but just, you know, the best brand or what you recommend the most to people. And because I know I'm using, I get mine from your online store, and a lot of people do. And so you've been very helpful in that.
Good, awesome. All right, well, let's start with some definitions then. So by definition, a probiotic or probiotics are live microorganisms that confer a health benefit to the host when administered in adequate amounts. So our gut microbiome is made up of trillions of these bacteria and viruses and yeast, and it's actually a 10-to-1 ratio. So we have more bacteria and viruses and yeast than we do have cells in our body. So
wow.
That's incredible, right?
Yeah.
So what they do is they have a number of different functions in our body. They help us to break down food. They'll help to synthesize specific vitamins that we then will take and utilize. They help with hormones. They help with hormone synthesis, with neurotransmitter synthesis. So, you know, I'll talk a little bit more about it, but there are specific probiotic strains that are actually being studied to help with anxiety and depression and things like that. They also will induce anti-inflammatory cascades. They do so many different things, and that's why with all of my patients, no matter what they come in for, it can be my thyroid patients or, you know, headaches or whatever it is, I always start with gut health. Because if your gut isn't intact and your gut isn't healthy and you don't have a healthy microbiome, everything else is going to be off. And, you know, I can give you stuff for your specific ailments, but you got to build that solid foundation. Your microbiome is so much a part of your
And I don't think a lot of people realize that either. A lot of us that talk a lot about probiotics, you know that gut health is so important, but a lot of people don't realize that so many things start in your gut. So that was a great explanation. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So there was a study that was just completed. It was a human microbiome project, and what they did was they wanted to look at all the different species of strains of bacteria, yeast, and viruses, and everything that live within us, and they wanted to map it out. So that was just completed not too long ago, and I think that if we were to set this date in the calendar 5 years from now, this talk would be completely different because we're learning so much information right now. This is such a really cool time for the microbiome and for gut health in general. But what they basically extrapolated from that was that different people that have different conditions and diseases will have similar microbiomes. So people that have multiple sclerosis, for example, their microbiome composition, they're all similar. So they have, high levels of a few specific strains that aren't necessarily pathogenic or bad bacteria, but they're just higher in those people for whatever reason. So as far as treatment goes, and as far as what we're, looking at when we look at the microbiome, that's still evolving right now. So right now is a really, really exciting time. I know that there are a few companies out there that you can actually, I believe they do stool tests. You'll send a sample of your stool in, and they'll map your microbiome for you. And then they'll give you a personalized probiotic based on that. I would urge caution to anybody thinking about doing that, and it's because we are in such, we're still learning so much. And, they might say, okay, this is what your fecal analysis shows that you have this is your microbiome composition. Well, how do you know what to make based off of that? What is the perfect microbiome? We don't know that yet. We're still evolving and we're still learning on that. But I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was really cool. And I think, in 5 to 10 years, we'll probably have personalized probiotics for everybody, hopefully. Because like I was saying before, that's the foundation of our health. So, we got to have those good guts and good microbiomes.
That's a pretty cool concept, having personalized probiotics. That's pretty cool. Okay, so you've told us kind of how they work and what they are. So maybe go into a little bit about, and I guess you kind of told us why you need them.
Let me tell you what I can, the general person that asks me, do I need a probiotic or what probiotic should I take? So that's a question that I get all the time. And I always ask people, okay, well, what's your diet like? And, for the average person that eats a really well-balanced diet, so the best thing that you can do for your microbiome is eat a diverse, healthy diet. So as many different things, as many different healthy things that you can get into your system, that's going to diversify your microbiome in that specific part. My daughter.
No, it's okay.
So for somebody like that that's eating a lot of really good fermented foods and they're eating, no processed foods and very little sugars, and somebody who has no ailments, nothing, I would say, hey, you might not even need a probiotic, or if you just want to do something just for maintenance, a 15 to 25 billion CFU, that's the dosage. A probiotic that's that low would probably be okay with you, just to kind of help you maintain your microbiome. Now, for somebody that has chronic digestive issues such as ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease, taking a 15 or a 25 billion CFU probiotic is going to do nothing for you. That's when you have to do a heavier dosage.
Okay.
So even, how what's the popular yogurt, salmon yogurt. So things like that have those smaller dosages, what studies have shown actually is that they might have some type of change on your microbiome initially and while you're taking it, but then once you stop eating that or taking that probiotic, your microbiome goes right back to the way it was before, and so your symptoms will come back. So if you're looking to take a probiotic to institute a specific change, you have to do a high dose and you have to do it for a longer duration.
As for the yogurt too, that's one thing a lot of people will say when we first talk about probiotics is they're like, oh, well, I eat yogurt. And I'm like, Okay, that's great, but like, you know, like you're saying, it doesn't have a lasting effect. But the big thing I say to people too is when you're eating, and Dannon or Yoplait or any, those are well-known brands, but when you're eating a lot of yogurt and you're consuming a lot of dairy, which can also throw off your gut, but then a lot of people don't just go buy like a plain unflavored Greek yogurt. So then we're getting to a whole nother issue where you're getting, you know, the fruit on the bottom yogurt that's full of sugar, or a flavored yogurt, or there's cheesecake yogurt or chocolate peanut butter yogurt. And those are not like those are, you're going to almost do more harm than good with those because you're maxing out your sugar.
You got it.
And eating a bunch of dairy and for very little probiotics. So I want to say to people that is your comeback. Like, well, I eat yogurt. To really look at the label of the yogurt that you're eating, and if you really, really, really want to be beneficial with eating yogurt, get plain Greek yogurt, or one of the, like, they have those pro bug yogurts and kefirs, and those are a much better choice if you'd rather stick to yogurt.
Absolutely, 100% correct. I couldn't agree with you more. And you can even make your own yogurt too.
Yeah.
Go about it, and, you know, zero sugar there, and you know what you're getting essentially with that. But
absolutely.
Sediment, I have to say that all day long. No yogurt. Take it out. So yeah,
absolutely. All right, so maybe talk about some of your favorite brands. Some about maybe a little bit about your online store, and and anything else you feel that people should know.
Sure. Okay. So I want to start by talking about the online store. First of all, I want to say I didn't create this online store to sell supplements. I know that it can come off that way, but that's literally the last thing that I created it for. It was a way. I just want to make sure everybody knows this. So it was honestly a way for you guys and healthy hustlers who, you know, you guys talk about a lot of different brands. What brand is good? Is this brand good? Is this brand good? You know, there are a lot of bad brands out there, and that's why I created the store, because I have all the ones that I use personally and that I use with all my patients, and they're all in one place. So that's why I created it. And I wanted to give you guys a little discount because everybody in health hustlers, you know, you guys are so proactive and you're so excited about health, and that makes me get excited. So I got, you know, happy about that. But there's my kind of go-to probiotic that's in there that I would recommend is by Pure Encapsulations, and the 50 billion CFU probiotic, and it has a couple multi-strains, so it's not just one specific strain. There's multi-strains in there. That's a good one. There's another one by Pure Encapsulations. It's called My Biome GI, I believe, and that one has 4 different strains of probiotics. And it also has glutamine in it. So glutamine is the #1 fuel source for your gastrointestinal cells. So in order for those GI cells to function, essentially, it needs glutamine. So I like that one because it has a little bit extra with the glutamine added into it. Those are my 2 that I generally recommend for everybody. But, you know, there's probiotics that are specific for vaginal health. So if you have recurrent UTIs and yeast infections and things like that, there are strains that have actually been studied that are more popular in the vaginal area that fit that. For mood, there's different ones for, you know, people with anxiety and depression, and that there have been studies that have shown that strains of Lactobacillus helveticus and Bifidobacterium longum, those are the 2 specific strains for anxiety and depression that have been clinically researched. So there's a number, you know, you got to look at what you're trying to get out of the probiotics. If you're taking it for maintenance, if you're taking it for something specific, and then kind of go from there. And I always recommend that if you're taking it for something specific, you know, I see so many people wasting so much money on supplements because they're just kind of guessing, and then they get into the store or they go online and they buy 5 different products because they have no idea what they're doing. So always consult with somebody too. And just as a FYI, anybody who has any type of an immunodeficiency or is immune compromised, those are the only people that I really, really caution and say do not take probiotics to. Because if you have such a low immune count and your body's not able to fight things off, essentially, when you take in these bacteria can turn into pathogenic bacteria, or they can just kind of wreak havoc on your system.
That's good to know. We'll put that, I'll make a little paragraph about that and touch about that a little bit when I turn this into a blog. I know a question that a lot of people ask, because it can be overwhelming and there's so many different products out there, and you go to the grocery store and you see probiotics on the shelf, then you go to a health food store and you see them in the refrigerator, or you order pure encapsulations, and my pure encapsulation box comes with ice packs and it's in a cooler. And so can you kind of give the difference to people of why you would want to steer away? And I'm having a harder time hearing you too on the last one, so maybe get a little closer, but on why it's important to, what the difference is, why you'd want the refrigerated ones versus the ones that you find on the shelf at Walmart or Giant Eagle.
Sure. So the most important thing actually is to read the label and to see what it says about how the probiotics work here. So some probiotics, actually most of the ones that I use, are shelf stable. So they were actually freeze-dried, so that doesn't mess with the integrity of the strains, and they're okay being outside of the refrigerator. So those are okay. I still think I have to, just in case, right?
Right.
But then there's also ones that aren't freeze-dried and that they don't have any type of coating or anything done to them, and those are the ones that you find in the refrigerator, and you want to make sure to keep those in the refrigerator, because they are very sensitive to heat. So these are live things, right? So if you don't keep they're not prepared in a freeze-dried manner or in another manner, if you expose them to heat or to normal temperatures, they'll actually die off. So you want to make sure that you keep them in the refrigerator just to be sure.
No, that's a good way to say it, because a lot of people they ask that. They're like, well, why don't I buy the cheaper bottle that's at the grocery store? Why do I buy this more expensive bottle that, is in a refrigerator? And they don't quite grasp the difference of them. So.
Right, absolutely.
So,
sorry, just to
go ahead.
A little bit more. So again, read your label too, because you want to see something that says acid resistant at the same time. So if you think about it, if you're buying a probiotic that can't sit out in room temperature, let's say, the refrigerated one, for example, do you think that they're going to be able to live through your stomach acid and through the intestines and be alive? No. That's the difference between a good quality probiotic and a low quality probiotic, is that a lot of, like, pure encapsulations, for example, they have acid resistant capsules. So that means that they're able to pass through the stomach, through all the stomach acid, and still be alive when they get into your intestines. You actually want them to go into a large intestine. That's where most of your microbiome lives. So they have to travel a very long distance, and a lot of them get killed off because they're not properly formulated. So again, that's why you want to, kind of shy away from the low-end brands and, go for a more pharmaceutical grade.
That's interesting. And I guess I didn't even realize that they have to get down into your large intestine all the way. So That's good to know. It is very tricky for people. And I know I've switched brand and tried a bunch of different ones. And I finally settled on pure encapsulation. My aunt actually introduced me to that company. My cousin did. I was at my cousin's house, and her cabinet was everything she had for her and her kids was pure encapsulation. And she said, my mom showed me these. And so my aunt and I had a conversation about them, and then you started recommending them, and I realized how good they were. So that's the one that I recommend to everybody. Well, then why don't we go into, so we don't keep people on here too long, we'll be hitting a half an hour. Why don't we go into just a little bit about your store and how that works? I know you're not trying to sell, but I am. I'm trying to sell for you. So we'll go a little bit into how that works and how people can connect with you, and what they need to do and all that. And we'll go from there. Maybe I know on your store, maybe real quick, you have brands for, like, there's stuff for, me, a woman in my 30s. You have stuff for infants, for children. You have a whole range of things on there.
Right. So we'll put the link on the Healthy Hustlers after, but it's npscript.com/modernhealth, and you have to use the code modernhealth to create an account, basically. And you'll use that code to create the account, and then once you get in there, you just have to let me know that you're in there, and I can add that discount on for you guys. But yeah, there's so many different things in there. Any type of vitamin, there's B complexes, there's vitamin C, there's vitamin A, there's all different types of things. I put a lot of stuff on there for kids because I know that that's a popular topic in Healthy Hustlers, and I have 2 little kids of my own, and I talk to my sister and my sister-in-law and my friends that have kids, and that's, giving vitamins to kids is scary because, it's one thing to do it for yourself, but then, the last thing that you want to do is harm your kids. So that's why I put a lot of children's stuff on there, the brands that I trust, the things that I trust. There's a ton of things on there for flu and cold season because it's so bad this year. I want to make sure that everybody has all the things that they need to prevent any type of illness going on. And if you're looking for something and it's not on there, let me know because I can add things to my store. I don't add things that I would consider to be more that I don't want to be abused. So a lot of products for like thyroid health and things like that I don't put on there because I think you should do those under a physician's discretion.
Okay, no, that's good.
General supplements are all on there, and like I said, if there's something that you're looking for that's not there, just give me a Facebook message or something like that, and I can always check it out. And it's also
awesome
to go through my Dr. Sweetnich page or Jerrica Sweetnich ND on Facebook rather than my private page. I don't check my private messages.
I can attest to that. I send her messages and then I have to text her and be like, did you see my message? So she's not ignoring you.
No, I'm not, I swear. But it's just easier to go through my professional page because then I get an email about it. So that's why.
Totally get it.
Oh, boy.
No, that's awesome. Well, and anyone that's either on the call live or that will be watching this later, Dr. Sweetnich is very active in the group, and if anyone has any questions about this or anything, you could post in the group. You can comment in the next day or 2, I will get a blog up about this with the call. Comment on there, and then I'll put her contact info to her practice, so you'll have her email, and if anyone's looking for an ND in the area, she's in the Akron area. Her office is in Akron. So you can connect with her and go see her. And her husband's a chiropractor who we're going to get on one of these calls at one point too. So, and he's in Cuyahoga Falls. So if anyone's looking for a chiropractor too, we'll give him a little plug. We've been talking about, is he over there? Is he with the kids right now?
He's with the kids, yeah.
We've got them doing daddy duty. Mike's downstairs on daddy duty too. So teamwork.
Yes, there we go.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this. And like I said, next week, same time, I think around 7:30, we're going to do a call on talking about ketosis and, the keto. She's been talking about this one for a while.
I love the ketogenic diet. There's so many awesome, cool health benefits. I can't wait to talk about it.
I can't wait to hear about it. It's something I haven't done yet, and we keep reading all this stuff, and you see products and diets and all this. There's so much to navigate, so I'm excited for you to kind of streamline it all for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too.
Awesome. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us. Jerrica, you have a great night, and we'll see you guys all in the group.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.